Hey guys, welcome back to another video. In this video here, we're going to show you how to use formulas and functions in Microsoft 365 Excel. So what is the Excel formula and Excel function? Excel formula is an expression that calculates values in a cell or in a range of cells. So to basically give an example, here we have the data, which we have the B2 up to B6 data. For example, here we can basically go to this at the bottom and type equals, then type B2 plus B3 and all the way up to B6. So just basically type right here. So change the equals symbol to plus symbol and going to type B4 plus B5 plus B6 and press enter. And as you can see here, this formula will going to adds up the values in cells from B2 through B6. Now the function, Excel function, is a predefined formula already available in Excel. So functions perform specific calculations in a particular order based on the specified values called arguments or parameters. So for example, instead of specifying each value to be summed like in the above formula, you can use the sum function here to add up a range of cells. So just need to change the value here. For example, we're going to delete the first value that we have just added and just type equals, then type sum or SUM, and then parenthesis. We can type here B2 column B6, then parenthesis. So as you can see here, it will basically add up all the data from B2 to B6. And you can find all available Excel functions in the function library on the formulas tab. So right here at the very top of your settings or options, you'll find the formulas which is available. We have the insert function, auto sum. So we have here, for example, if you want to add like average, and also we have like the sum or like this count numbers, maximum, minimum. So we have different functions. We have also here like for example, this one, recently used, and also here we have other options like the financial. So basically here, and we have logical, we have text, date and time, lookup and reference, math, and also here we have more functions here. So there exist up to 400 plus functions in Excel, and the number is going by version to version. And of course, it's next to impossible to memorize all of them, and you actually don't need to. The function wizard will help you find the function best suited for a particular task, while the Excel formula IntelliSense will prompt the function syntax and arguments as soon as you type the function's name preceded by an equal sign in a cell. So as you can see here, clicking the function's name will turn into a blue hyperlink, which will open the help topic for that function. Now the tip right here, actually you don't necessarily have to type a function name in all caps. Microsoft Excel will automatically capitalize it once you finish typing the formula and press the enter key to complete it. So here I will basically show you some of the basic function you should definitely know as a user of the Microsoft Excel. So here I will show the list of 10 simple yet really helpful functions that are necessary skill for everyone or who wishes to turn from an Excel novice to an Excel professional. So the first Excel function you should be familiar with is the one that performs the basic arithmetic operation of addition, which is sum or SUM. So if you can basically type here, so just need to basically type like equals, and then you can type SUM, and then you will find you can now basically add the data right here. So in the syntax of all Excel functions, an argument enclosed in brackets other arguments are required, meaning your sum formula should include at least one number reference to a cell or a range of cell. So for example, I'm going to type equals sum, then parenthesis b2 comma b6, then it will add some values in cell b2 and b6. Now if we're going to change the comma and we're going to change the value into like column, then it will basically adds the value from cells b2 through b6. So as you can see here, and then press enter. And if necessary, you can perform other calculations within a single formula. For example, if you can divide the sum by 5, and you will find the result right over here. So to sum with conditions, use the SUMIF function. So in the first argument, you enter the range of cells to be tested against the criteria. And the second argument, the criteria itself. And in the last argument, the cells to sum. Right? So for example, we're going to show you the example of the formula. So type here, like for example, this one first is the total. And here we're going to add the sum F or sum IF. And then we can add the parenthesis. And then add the A2. Alright, A2 and then column. A6 and then comma space D2 space or comma space B2 column B6 and then parenthesis. So this will be, as you can see, the example formula right here. So as you can see in your Excel worksheets, the formula may look something similar to this one. So another tip, the fastest way to sum a column or row of numbers is to select a cell next to the numbers you want to sum. So the cell immediately below the last value in the column or to the right of the last number in the row. And click the Auto Sum button on the Home tab in the Formats group. Excel will insert a sum formula for you automatically. Now let's go to the second function, which is the average. So the Excel average function does exactly what its name suggests. Find an average or arithmetic mean of numbers. Its syntax is similar to sums. You just need to type here equals, and then you just need to type average, and then type the parenthesis. So having a closer look at the formula from the previous section, which is equals sum b2 column b6 divide 5, what does it actually do? Sums values in cells b2 through b6 and then divides this result by 5. And what do you call adding up a group of numbers and then dividing the sum by the count of those numbers? It's an average. So the Excel average function performs these calculations behind the scenes. So instead of dividing sum by count, you can simply put this formula in a cell. So average parenthesis b2 column b6. So as you can see, then press enter. So we have the average, which is 2.4. So to average cells based on condition, use the following average IF. So we can basically add another formula. So equals, then we can put here average, then IF. And then here we can basically add the parenthesis. And then here, A2 column B6 or A2 column A6 is the criteria range. And then D3 is the criteria. And the B2 column B6 are the cells to average. So once you press on enter, so this will be the results, which is the 2.5. So this is the average. Next function that we're going to discuss is max and min. The maximum or minimum formulas in Excel get the largest and smallest value in a set of numbers, respectively. For our sample data set, the formulas will be as simple as equals max then parenthesis. So for example here, as you can see on my Excel, we have a data sample, we have the item quantity, and we're going to show you the value of maximum and minimum right here, or max and min. So we're going to type equals max parenthesis B2 column B6. So as you can see, it will show you the largest value in the set of numbers. So press enter. There you have it. We have 3. And then if you want to get the smallest value, so just type equals mean parenthesis B2 column B6 parenthesis and then press enter. So there you go. We have the largest and smallest value in the set of numbers in the data. Now the next function that we're going to talk about is count and counter. So as you can see, we have the number count and the non-blank count on the data. So if you are curious to know how many cells in a given range contain numeric values or number or dates, don't waste your time counting them by hand. The Excel count function will bring you the count in a heartbeat. So just type right here equals, then the formula will be count, and then parenthesis, then you will find here value 1 and value 2. So while the count function deals only with those cells that contain numbers, the count A or counter function counts all cells that are not blank, whether they contain numbers, dates, times, text, logical values of true and false, errors, or empty text strings. So for example, to find out how many cells in column B contain numbers, use the formula, right? So use the formula right here, like the count. So as you can see, the difference is by adding a letter A, which is counter and count, right? For basically count, let's find out the cells in column B contain numbers. So there you go, B column B. Now to count all non-empty cells in column B, go with this one, B or counter. So let's see all the non-empty cells, counter B column B, and this will be the results. So in both formulas, use the so-called whole column reference or B column B that refers to all the cells within column B. So as you can see on your screen here, it shows the difference. While count processes only numbers, counter inputs the total number of non-blank cells in column B, including the text value in the column header. Now here, the if is the most popular function in Excel. In simple terms, you use an if formula to ask Excel to test a certain condition and return one value or perform one calculation if the condition is met, and the another value or calculation if the condition is not met. So in this case, we have the item, which having here like apples to oranges, and we have the quantity, and we're going to add the delivery date. And let me show you here if it's done or completed. Now here we can basically add some delivery date, like for example from March 5 to March 15. Now for example, the following if statement checks if the order is completed or not. So there's a value in column C right here. So to test if a cell is not blank, you use the not equal to operator in combination with an empty string. As the result, if cell C2 is not empty, the formula returns yes, otherwise no. So as you can see, we have the formula equals if parenthesis C2, then the special symbols, then yes, comma, no. So if we're going to press enter, then it will show you the answer here. So there you go. So if we press enter, it will be like yes, means completed. Now another formula that we can use here on the, for example, in the fifth data, or A5, which is apples, then the quantity is 3. So we can type here equals if parenthesis C5, right? This is the delivery date. And then the special symbols here, we're going to type comma, and then yes, and then here we can add like no. So there is the result. So actually, if we're going to delete the delivery date, so as you can see, for example, if we're going to change the delivery date still, the answer here is yes. But if we're going to remove the delivery date from here, so let's see what will happen on the result right here, right? So using this function or formula, with this if function. So for example, if I'm going to delete the delivery date, so it will change into no. So it basically means that it is not completed. So that's how you basically use this if function. Now the next function here is the trim. So if you're obviously correct, Excel formulas return just a bunch of errors. One of the first things to check is extra spaces in the reference cell. So there are several ways to remove unwanted spaces in Excel, with the trim or TRIM function being the easiest one. So you just have to go here on the data and just type equals, then trim, then parentheses, as you can see. So for example, to trim extra spaces in column A, enter the following formula in cell A1 and then copy it down the column. So for example, it's like A1 and then parentheses, press enter. So as you can see, it shows there the data. This is the A1. So we can change into A2. Alright, so in this case, I'm going to change into A2, then parentheses, press enter. And as you can see here, the result. So as you can see, it will eliminate all extra spaces in cells, but a single space character between words. So you can just type here all over from 2 to 6. And here on the third one, trim, parenthesis, which is A4. Next one is A5. So type the formula and A5, press enter, and we will have the trim formula. And last one is A6. So there you go. So as you can see, it eliminates all extra spaces in the cells. Now let's go to len formula. So whenever you want to know the number of characters in a certain cell, len or len is the function to use. So you just have to type here equals then len, as you can see the formula here. Now wish to find out how many characters are in cell A2. So basically type here, for example, A2 and press enter. As you can see, we have 7. So please keep in mind that the Excel len function counts absolutely all characters, including the spaces. So for example, on the second one here, we're going to get the formula and we can get absolutely all the characters here on the A3. And here on the A4, just type equals and then len, parenthesis, A4, and we got all the characters here. So that's how you basically get the len formula. The next function here that we are basically going to show you is the and or function. So these are the two most popular logical functions to check multiple criteria. The difference is how they do this. So and returns true if all conditions are met, false otherwise. And or returns true if any condition is met, false otherwise. While rarely used on their own, these functions come in very handy as part of bigger formulas. For example, to check the test results in column B and C and return pass if both are greater than 60, fail otherwise, use the following if formula with an embed and statement. So for example, we're going to type equals, then if, and then add parentheses and here we're going to add parentheses again, and then we're going to add like B2 greater than 60, and then here we can add comma, space, B2 again greater than 60, parentheses, and then comma, and then special character, pass, and fail. So just like the yes or no, just like what we did earlier. And then parentheses, press enter. And as you can see, we have the value. So we're going to change right over here, press enter. And then our error shows up here. So maybe some spaces will need to delete. So there you have it. We have just enter, and we have just show here the fail, right? So another one, if, And then here in this sample, we're going again to add and. So right here, if we're going to use the or, basically if it's sufficient to have just one test score greater than 60, or either test 1 or test 2, embed the or statement, and then we can basically use the same formula or value. So again, B2 right here, and then 60 comma space. So we should use the special character here, pass, and then comma fail. Right, again, parenthesis, press enter. Right, an error again. So meaning we have to delete some spaces. There you go, and then there you have it. So we can basically add or use this and or function. Next, we have the concatenate function. So in case you want to take values from 2 or more cells and combine them into one cell, use the concatenate operator or the concatenate function. So here we have the sample on our Excel. Just type equals, then concatenate. So basically make sure that you have the correct spelling. Alright, concatenate. And then we can basically add parentheses and we have the value here. So for example, to combine the values from cells A2 and B2, so enter the formula right here, A2, comma, space B2, press enter, and we have the result. So as you can see, now to basically separate the combined values with the space, type the space character in the argument list. So for example, again, equals, okay, type again here on the box, equals concatenate, then change the comma and add a space character right over here, and then comma, space, and press enter, and there you have it. So as you can see, so we have just basically separate the combined values with a space. So another one here, concatenate, and then again the formula will be like a tree, and then adding some spaces on that, type B3 parenthesis enter, and as you can see we have the result. Last one here, equals concatenate, then the formula will be like A4 comma, and then use the space character and then type here B4. So there you go. Now finally, last function that I'll be basically show you is the today and now. So to see the current date and time whenever you open your worksheet without having to manually update it on a daily basis, use either the formula equals and then today, and then use the open and close parenthesis. If you want to insert just today's date in a cell. Then if you want to insert the current date and time, so just use now and then open and close parenthesis. So enter, there you have it. The beauty of these functions is that they don't require any arguments at all. You type the formulas exactly as written above. So yeah, that's it. So that are the basic functions and formula in Microsoft 365 Excel. So thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe, and see you on the next one.